Some dudes get chosen by women. I don't know if you've already probably seen something like this in your life at least once. There's always this one guy or maybe these couple guys that get picked way more often than yourself or like everybody else around you. Most people don't actually have the luxury of getting picked by women. Now, how the fuck does this happen? Well, speaking from experience, and personally, when I was a kid, teenager, fucking high school to whatever, college, I guess you could call it. I never used to get picked because I wasn't really taking care of my looks at all. Like I was a teenage kid, I had no fucking clue how anything worked. Even though I had this thought in the back of my mind of, I need to look good. And the simple fact of being overweight, I used to be like over 100 kilos at the time. Now I'm like 80 kilos. I'm trying to lean down on like maybe 76, 77, 78, whatever. Just to lean down basically. And so going from being over 100 kilos overweight, I might just post a picture here of like who I used to be so you've got an idea. And going to taking care of my hair, taking care of my grooming, taking care of my physical appearance, like just going to the gym every single day, and making sure that I look more like some of those guys that get picked super often. The guys that are super tall, the guys that are super shredded, the guys that have a super really good bone structure in their face, super symmetrical, whatever the fuck you want to call that. It's basically all down to genetics. But there are a lot of things that you can do to still look good. I made a video a couple days ago to explain how you can go from what you look like now to where you want to be. And even though it is as simple as things like going to the gym every single day, exercising, taking in some sunlight, taking care of your skin, taking care of your hygiene, eating good food, all of that sort of stuff, very important. Because at the end of the day, you are basically what you eat. Like that is probably the one most important thing. If you eat garbage, you're gonna look like shit. Like that's the bare basics. So if you eat really good food, so let's say you eat meat most of the time. Like you eat beef, you eat chicken, you eat what else? You eat deer, you eat anything that you can find in the wild basically. If you eat that, and that is like mainly most of your diet, then in that case you're gonna look really good, because that is the highest source of animal protein on the planet. Now, I wouldn't recommend eating people, but that could be a part of it, I guess. Let's not talk about that. My ancestors used to eat people, but that's another subject for another time. So, if you are what you eat, in that case, you need to take better care of what you eat. You need to stop eating all of that fucking processed garbage that has a lot of calories but very low nutrition. That is the whole problem. Because the whole thing with meat and like animal processed, like animal stuff, like let's say you eat a steak, is high nutrition, high calories. That's what you want to have. So that way you don't want to eat too much of that, because when it's high calories, you don't feel like eating more. But when it's high nutrition, you don't feel like eating at all, because you're digesting that and you feel satiated. And so all of these little tips and tricks that I shared on that previous video, I'll link it down in the description for you guys to go see. Well, it kind of just puts into perspective of what exactly that you need to do to go from, let's say maybe like you're a 5 right now, you can go up to like maybe like a 7, maybe a 7.5, maybe like close to an 8. Like for instance, for me, in terms of personal looks, I know that I'm not necessarily the most attractive. Like, I know there are people that are more attractive than I am, even though I do take care of my appearance and everything as much as I can. And I do recommend you do this. Like, if you have ChatGPT or Grok or whatever fucking AI you have, I would recommend going on it and maybe like taking some different angles of like pictures of different angles of yourself without your clothes on, and just sending that over to ChatGPT or to fucking Grok or whatever, and ask it to rate you on a scale of 1 to 10 and be brutally honest. You can also ask your friends, like, hey, what would you rate me in terms of pure physical attractiveness on a scale of 1 to 10? Ask men, ask women, ask literally everybody, and then come up with something. Because in all technicality, you've got the what's it called? The relationship, your relationship status scale, and you've got the sexuality status scale. And now, like, for instance, I would give you an example, would be, if you are a porn star, you're probably very high in the sexual, like in bed, you're very good in bed, but your relationship status is probably like a 1. So if your sexuality is a 10 and you're like a 1 in relationships, because you're a porn star, no dude wants to take you seriously, then in that case, your average would be a 5. So if you're a 10 out of 10 porn star, you're basically just a 5 in the dating market. Now, if you are very good in bed and you don't have that many partners, then in that case you're a 10. Like, if you look like a 10 and you behave like a 10 in terms of your physical and relationship status, then in that case you are a 10, which is pretty fucking rare. Let's just be honest. Everybody that keeps saying like, oh, I'm a 10 out of 10, no, you're not. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, it takes so much fucking hard work to become a 10 out of 10. It's practically impossible to be at a 10 out of 10 physically. It's pretty much impossible by natural default for a man to be a 10 out of 10 physically. There are people that fit in the category, it's like it's 1%, lower than 1% of men on the planet are among that 9 to 10 out of 10. Like, they're 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. That small thing is like 1% of the population. Less than 1%. And so when you take that into account, it's basically nobody. It's basically nobody. It's basically, if we have 9 billion people on the planet, what is 1% of 9 billion? Not that much. Not that much. So, in all logical aspects, if you're not among that class of people, you are far less likely to be chosen by a woman by simply, it's all about the laws of genetics and about the laws of nature. If you look like shit, if you're not very tall, if you're short, if you were dealt a shit lottery in terms of the genetic pool, then you can't really do much about it. You just have to do your best. And you might have to substitute that with your personality. You might have to substitute that with your accomplishments, with your gains, may it be financially, may it be status, may it be that you're super funny, may it be literally anything, so that you can actually get the women you want. Which, I don't know if everybody can pull a 10 out of 10 supermodel woman, but you can always try. You can always try your best. Doesn't fucking matter. So, why do some men in that case get chosen more often than others? Well, when you actually look at the genetic pool, it's all based on what I just said. But there are things you can do in order to still become better. So going back to the story I started on at the start of this video, I used to be, when I was in high school, super fat, overweight, fucking ugly ass, fucking didn't take care of myself. Now, I am much more blessed than most people in terms of the genetics. Like, my dad was mixed race and my mother was European French. And so having that 25%, 50% mix of genetics allowed me to look much differently. Because I don't know if you've ever noticed this, you probably have. People that tend to reproduce with the people they live around all the time. So for instance, if you've got a certain population, like let's say you've got, I don't know, let's say you've got Africa, and you've got this small tiny village where there's like maybe like 10,000 people inside, and in that village all of the people don't have the means of going outside of the village to reproduce, so they always reproduce within the village. So at the end of the day, if you like go by like a couple of decades, what's going to happen is they're going to start interbreeding with their own family if no new people get introduced to the gene pool. And so you get this in a lot of places very often, like for instance Ireland, or in the places where there's not that many new people, that many immigrants, that many additional population that are added to the gene pool, because what ends up happening is you end up like interbreeding. So if you replicate, like you can see this very the most stupid example I can give you is if you reproduce with your sister or your brother or your fucking cousin or whatever, your kids are gonna look much more fucking weird as fuck. And if you do that again, and you do it again and again and again, they're gonna look way more and more and more fucked up. And so it's called genetic inbreeding deficiency, something. I don't fucking know. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, so I just know what I know. And so it becomes super fucking weird when you interbreed people, because they start looking like shit. They start having shit jawlines. They start having like caved in fucking heads, fucking I don't know, shit fucking hairlines, fucking no built aesthetic, no symmetrical face, fucking small ass nose, big ass eyes, fucking your eyes are here instead of here. It's like you get all these fucking problems, right? And so the fact that if your parents are from a bunch of different places and they start breeding with each other, then in that case you'll notice that you start looking a bit better because your genetics are much more mixed, and so the mix of that is going to make you look much better. So I don't fucking recommend this, but if you want your kids to look good, you might want to start considering reproducing with somebody that doesn't really look like you. So like for instance for me, if I were to reproduce with somebody that's like Asian, or somebody that's I don't know, African, or somebody that's, let's say, fucking, I don't fucking know, Pacific Islander, in that case my kids are probably gonna look way better because they'll have my European fucking mixed stuff and they'll have their part of the stuff as well. So that's what I would recommend, because that way your kids will have a much more of an edge. Being beautiful, being more attractive than average has a lot of perks. You get a lot of fucking more help from people. You get stuff for free. You get people that are super nice to you. And on average, this is the true, like this is fact. Because like I go to the coffee shop, I'm extremely nice to everybody, regardless, doesn't fucking matter. But I get people just giving me stuff for free. I get some baristas that say at the coffee shop, they say, "Oh, do you want some food?" Or, "Oh, you know what? This time for you it's free," or like stuff like that. And it all goes in terms of the character you've developed, right? But it also is based on pure physical attractiveness. If you look really good, people are gonna trust you way more. Like that's just the bare basics. Like in business, if you look like a fat slob, nobody's really gonna trust you as much as somebody who's like in super good shape, super ripped, super physically attractive, good, like at least 8, 9, 10 out of 10 physically. He's gonna be trusted way more just by the simple fact that he looks good. That's like a secret advantage that you get when you look good. You take care of yourself. And even if right now you feel like you're a fucking 5 or 4 You can always improve yourself as much as I did, for instance. If you did as much work as I did and put it into yourself, you could get to like a 6, a 7, an 8, maybe even an 8.5 if you do your best. If you're not born with like the fucking winning the genetic lottery, it's fine. Like, you can still do your best. Like, for instance, for me, my first girlfriend, my current girlfriend that I got in this country, a real partner, because let's say I've gotten a few different partners, but not really a good fit, but other subjects. So I was chosen. Like, she showed up to my, she was basically working at the same gym I was going at, and so what ended up happening is she ended up like circling around me like a fucking like a shark looking at the food, like looking at the prey. And she was like circling around, like she was coming to the gym at the exact same time every single day that I was going to the gym. She was going to, like, the gym I go to has a pool downstairs, so sometimes I used to go gym and then pool, and she was, when I was done with the gym and I would go to the pool, she would go to the pool as well at the same exact time I would go. So at that point it made it pretty fucking obvious that she wanted to talk to me. So I started the conversation, and then everything from there fucking fine, bruv. But she chose me. She made it extremely obvious that she wanted me to talk to her, and she wanted to go out with me. And so that feeling of being chosen by a woman is never really gonna happen with everybody on the planet Earth. It might happen to you, but it's pretty fucking rare. And so I don't think there is anything like it. It's kind of like, I made a video a couple weeks ago, and on developing the garden. Don't think it got any views, but I do recommend you go see it if you're interested in learning what I'm talking about in more depth. And so what I'm talking about is developing the garden is basically just developing yourself to become the kind of man that the woman you want is attracted to physically and naturally. Like, if you are the kind of person that she would want to be with, then in that case she'll come after you because she's like, oh, he's the good partner right now, I need to go get him. So if a woman is extremely attracted to you, she'll make it extremely fucking obvious. She'll say like, yeah, you can do whatever you want to me, we can go out together, we can do this, we can do that, I don't care what we do, I just want to hang out with you. Yeah, she'll make it that obvious. Like, she won't fucking bitch and moan, and she won't fucking make anything hard. You just say like, hey, do you want to go get a coffee? She'll say, yeah, what time? I remember the first time we were scheduling our first date with my girlfriend. I said like, when are you free? And she said, every single day after 1 p.m. And I was like, okay. I've never gotten that before. Just to put you into context. Before it was just like, actually, I'm kind of busy, so maybe we can do Tuesday. And I was like, okay, so you don't actually give a fuck. You don't actually care about me. You don't actually care about, like, getting to know me either. Like, obviously. So why the fuck would I care? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna put like a huge amount of effort up front if you're not gonna reciprocate. Like, I'm good. So that's another subject altogether. But if you ended up like, if you're never being chosen by women, you never know what this feels like. But you should go check out that video I posted on how to become more attractive, because that way you'll be able to know for sure what are the things you can control yourself in order to become that more attractive dude that can actually pull, and that actually doesn't have to necessarily just ask. You don't have to ask. You just show up and you be like, hey, this is me. Are you interested? And if they say yes, then fucking boom, you know, like close. Close the deal. Boom. And so that's what I mean. So I'm gonna keep these videos like 20 minutes long. See if you guys prefer it. See if I get more views. See if I get more engagement from 20 minutes instead of 30 minutes. And you guys let me know what you guys think as well. I'm happy to get some suggestions, some recommendations. And if you have any specific topic you would like me to talk about, feel free to recommend it and throw it in the comments. And with that said, like, comment, subscribe. I'm happy to have a conversation in the comments. If you have any questions, if you want some advice, some feedback, happy to give it to you raw and unfiltered. And with that said, I appreciate every single one of you guys being here to the end of the video. And it's time to get back to work. Even though it's raining, it's shit weather, doesn't fucking matter. We still have to get some work done. So I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.